I'm Vanessa.
And I'm Jason.
And today we're going to teach you how to play the game Durchmarsch.
Designed by Reinhard Stauper, it plays between 2 and 4 players and takes around 15 minutes to play.
Let's get going and learn how to play.
Durchmarsch is a gambler's game boiled down to its essence. Over and over throughout the game, you have to make exactly one decision. Take a risk or play it safe. Stop or continue. Both strategies can lead to victory in this game. To set up, give each player a sheet of paper and something to write with. Randomly determine a player to be the first to roll all of the dice, and then you are ready to play. It's as simple as that. The goal of the game is to be the first player to cross off all numbers in a single row. As soon as a player manages to cross off all numbers in any one row, then they immediately win the game. Let's look at how you play. Each player will take turns rolling the dice and crossing off numbers on their sheets. When it's your turn, you always start your first roll with all 8 dice. So when it comes to your go, take all dice in hand, give them a shake, and a roll. You only roll the dice once. There is no re-rolling in this game. You start the game on the top row on the left hand side. The numbers in each row must always be crossed off from left to right as shown by this green arrow. So to begin, you have to form the number 10. You make this number by combining exactly 2 dice together to make this value. If you succeed, you may then cross off the number 10. So here in our roll I have a 6 and a 4, so I can combine these two to make the number 10. If you can form the required number more than once, it makes no difference. For example, here I have another 10, but that doesn't matter. After crossing off the box, you have to decide whether you want to end your turn now or you wish to continue. Just to reiterate, you must make these numbers here using exactly 2 dice. So I couldn't combine this 3, and this 4 to make the number 10, because that's using too many dice. If you decide to continue, you have to put aside any one die and then roll once more. So you take any dice out of the game. Now I have one fewer die to roll with to make the next number. After 10 comes number 9. So now, if I want to continue, I'll roll these dice. And I'm hoping now to make the number 9 using 2 dice. I've done that here because I've got a 6 and a 3. I can now mark this number 9 on my sheet. As before, if I choose to continue now, I must set aside a die and then roll once more, now with one fewer die, to make this number 8. Let's give that a try now. I was lucky here because only these 2 dice combined to make the number 8. I'll cross that off. And now once again I decide continue or stop. There are 2 very important rules to note here. Firstly, whenever you're on a hot streak and continuing to roll and cross off numbers, you only set aside a maximum of 3 dice, no matter how long you continue your turn for. You will always roll at least 5 dice, even if you keep on marching through the entire row. So if I continue now, I put a die aside, I'm left with 5 dice. If I'm successful, I go on to the 6, but I do not set aside any dice because I have 5 here. The second important rule is that the numbers 10 to 7 must always be formed by the values of 2 dice. After that, when you come down to 6 through 1, you must make this number using only 1 die. You are not allowed to combine dice to make one of these numbers. For example, if I was on the 6 now, I couldn't combine the 2 and the 4 to make the 6. I would actually have a failed roll here.
We mentioned that you can choose to end your turn at any point after crossing off a number in a row. If you choose to end your turn, then you pass all 8 dice to the player on your left, who is now going to roll the dice. When it comes to your turn again in the next round, you continue in the same row in which you just voluntarily ended. You then start again by rolling all 8 dice at the first unmarked space in your current row. So in this example, I'd be trying to make a 7. But what happens if you roll the dice and cannot form the next number in the row? Then this counts as a misthrow, and it forces you to end your turn immediately. You must mark a misthrow in this row, the box on the right edge here. You then pass all 8 dice to the player on your left, who will now roll the dice. Note, it is possible that you do not roll the required number with all 8 dice right at the beginning of your turn. Unfortunately, you're out of luck. After a misthrow, when it comes to your turn to roll again in the next round, you must start in the next row below with all 8 dice at the first available space. We'll now be going from this here, and I'm going to try and roll a 10 with 2 dice. I don't know if you can even see that one. Here we go. Great success. One very important thing to remember is that if you've made a misthrow in all 4 rows during the course of the game, you start again in the topmost row in the next round with all 8 dice from the first available space. However, now if you fail to roll a required number and thus generate a second misthrow in a row, you have to draw a line and strike through the entire row. This row is now never able to be completed. If a player has crossed a line through all 4 rows, that is to say generated 2 misthrows in each of the 4 rows, they are then eliminated from the game. All the others continue to play normally without this player. As soon as a player has crossed off all the numbers in any row, they win immediately. If no one manages to complete a row, then the player who remains the longest in the game will be the winner. And that's how you play Durchmarsch.
We hope you have loads of fun playing.
See you next time. Bye!
Bye!